This is a different type of video, isn't it? We're getting up close and personal today. It is currently 6 in the morning, or just gone, and I decided today to do a 24-hour reading challenge. So that is what we're gonna do. I just thought it would be a fun little challenge, and at the end of the 24 hours, I will share with you my total page count. So if you like the concept of this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up to let me know, and then I will film more videos like these. So let's crack on with it. So just for a bit of backstory, normally on a standard day, I will read for about an hour and a half, and I'll read roughly about 50 pages in that time. However, today, I want to read for basically the whole day. I am going to let myself sleep within the 24 hours, so I don't think I've ever read this much in such a compact amount of time. So we'll see if I'm still a functional human being at the end of it. For now, I need my coffee, otherwise I get stroppy. So that is on the agenda. Okay, so I don't know where the time has gone, but it is currently 8:39. Is that going to focus? There we go. 8:39. 20 to 9. To be honest, I probably started the challenge more near 7 o'clock because I did have my breakfast first, which I wasn't planning on doing. I don't actually normally eat breakfast, which is really bad. But it turns out breakfast is actually good for you. Listen to what the doctors say, kids, because I actually feel great. And obviously I've had my coffee as well. I've had my cuddle with Lupin, which I always love to do. So he's currently eating his breakfast right now. And this is the book that we have started off the challenge with. So I was on page 56 when I started. I was on chapter 3. And I am now on chapter 7, which is page 129. So I can't do the maths. I will work it out later. But I've read quite a decent chunk this morning so far. Did I even say what book this was? This is Realmbreaker by Victoria Aveyard. This is the first in a trilogy. The whole trilogy is out. This was published in 2021, and the other 2 books in the series are also out at the moment as well. So if you want to read this series, I believe it is finished and you can get the rest of the trilogy, which is great news. So far, I am really enjoying this. I won't lie, it is a bit slow paced. Like I'm, 130 pages in, and I don't feel like the plot has progressed all that much. I feel like at the moment it has mainly been introducing us to the characters. The characters are all really intriguing, they all feel very different. So I suppose at the moment, the stage that we're at in the book is that we're like forming this squad essentially. So we've got this immortal guy who is known as an elder. So he is obviously not a human, he is an immortal, he's really, really strong, he's really tall, apparently he's very handsome. Kind of what you would imagine, you know, like in Twilight, like the vampires are meant to be real strong, real attractive, like stunning people. I'm imagining that that is what the immortals and the elders are like in this book. We also have a human squire. So the elder's name is Dom, and then the squire's name is Andre. And then we have this like pirate smuggler's daughter called Corinne. So at the moment her storyline is progressing very quickly. She's very vital to the quest that Dom is on as well. Basically the whole purpose of this at the moment is that they're trying to find people who have spindle blood, because there's like this like door or portal to the underworld called a spindle, and that has opened and it's obviously not supposed to. So that is what the whole quest of this squad is to try and find people with spindle blood, and they also need to find a spindle blade and locate that item so that they can close the spindle and save the realm, essentially. We also have an assassin called Sostara, I believe her name is. Is she called Sostara? She's probably my favourite character at the moment and I can't even remember her name. What is her name? Saraza. So the assassin is called Saraza. I'm really enjoying it so far. The only thing that I would say about it is that the prologue starts right in the middle of conflict. Like immediately you are faced with a war or a battle that leads to a lot of people's demise. So much so to the point where I thought, is this the first in a series or have I picked up a sequel? Because it felt like I was thrown smack bang in the middle of a plot and I didn't know anything about the world and I didn't know anything about the characters, and I did have to research online to make sure this actually was the first book. Turns out it is. You are just thrown straight in the middle of it. You're not introduced to anything. So you have to pick up the storyline very, very quickly, which I did find with this. And I suppose that's maybe why it's feeling a little bit slower paced now, because the prologue was filled with so much conflict and tension that now the author is trying to introduce you to the characters and help the world make sense after all of that conflict. It was crazy tense, but I'm enjoying it. I just think that it was a little bit confusing at first whilst you're trying to get used to the world and what a spindle is. Like the whole prologue was focusing on the importance of the spindles, but I didn't know what it was. Whereas now I'm 130 pages in. Now I know what a spindle is and why they're important. So now the prologue makes a bit more sense to me and why that was such a vital storyline too. So that's where I'm currently at with this book. Obviously I won't spoil anything for you in case you want to read it. At the moment, I'm really enjoying the author's writing style. I think they're great at dialogue. I think they're also pretty good with descriptions, and I'm just excited to see more. They also describe the characters' appearances really well. Like I can actually really visualize what Dom the Immortal looks like and what Saraza the Assassin looks like. I think she could do a little bit better with describing the locations, because so far the cities don't seem too different to me. She needs to give some kind of distinguishable like settings. The only one that stands out to me is the temple, which is where the prologue was based. So I'm looking forward to seeing whether or not that changes as we get introduced to more locations. Hopefully she will then, like the author will then start to make them a bit more unique. So I'm gonna carry on reading, but that is my check-in for the morning. I don't know where the time has gone. I feel like this is why I read so slowly, is because I just get distracted by my bunny. I mean, just look at him. How am I supposed to concentrate on reading when he's too darn cute? I think Lupin loves it when I read more than I do. Also, I just thought I'd share with you a quote that I quite like that I've just read in this book. So I'm on page 138, so I haven't progressed much at all since I last checked in with you. But basically, we're on the point of view of a reader who is the Queen, and she's discussing with her council about a potential marriage alliance. So she says, "If I'm to marry, I will do it for the good of my crown, to strengthen my throne instead of selling it. We are the successors to Old Kor, the rightful empire, the glory of the ward. Find me a husband worthy of that destiny, of my father and grandfather's dreams. Find me a champion. If such a man exists, I will marry him and wield him like the sword I cannot carry." I don't know why, I just like that, because obviously because she's a woman, she can't be a knight, she can't like go into battle herself. It's just not what women did in those days. So I just quite like the idea of her wielding her husband like the sword she cannot carry. I think that's a really cool quote. I am about a fifth of the way through. We've got a lot to go, but I'll keep checking in with you and hopefully I can finish it this afternoon. Hello, Fluffy Bunny. Oh, you are pure perfection. So I'm now going to take a break so that I can get myself ready for the day. I am on chapter 10, which is page 181, and it is currently 10 past 10. The day's getting away with me. I am a slow reader because I like to take everything in. Like I like to really appreciate the story. So I'm gonna get myself ready. I did also have some bunny playtime as well this morning. Lupin likes to get very, very hyper about 9 o'clock, and that means it's playtime. So I did do that as well, so I had to stop reading for that. I'll catch you shortly. Wow, what a difference some makeup and washed hair can make. Anywho, it is now... Oh, can you see that? Is that going crazy on the camera? Anyways, it is now 11 o'clock. Well, just gone. And I'm going to make a cup of tea and do some more reading, obviously, because that is the purpose of the challenge today. Just to let you know, it's really rare that I will ever have a day like this where I have no plans and all I'll do is read. Sorry if you can hear any racket, it's my tortoise. Here's a little bit of tortoise cam for you. So let's make a cup of tea. Hi, so it's actually been quite some time since I last checked in with you. I can't remember if I said earlier, but I am also timing myself every time I read just to see how many hours that I am reading for today. So let's do a little midday check-in. It's currently 12:35, so I am going to take a break and have some lunch in a moment. And I have been reading for a total of 3 hours and 58 minutes. What page did I say I started on earlier? It was 50 something, wasn't it? I'm currently now on page 248. So I've read almost 200 pages today, which I'm quite happy at. And I'm hopeful that I'm on track to finish this book this afternoon and then start another one this evening. So I think that that's probably going to be what the rest of the day is going to look like. So initial thoughts on this book so far. It is a fantasy, like it's like a fantasy adventure. There's like a quest that this squad are all going on. What I would say though is that it doesn't really have like any magical elements yet. There's like the tiniest amount of it, and there is not a wide range of different fantasy species. It's very much so the mortals and the immortals, and that's it. And like the immortals are like a more glorified version of a human that are just stronger and more skilled in every way. One thing that I like about this author is that they are depicting trauma pretty well. So the squire, Andre, in this book, he quite clearly is traumatized by the events that happened in the prologue, and now he's getting like flashbacks, he's hearing voices and whispers, and I think the author is depicting trauma very well in his point of view chapters. The locations are starting to feel a little bit more distinguishable now as well, which is good. What I will say so far is that it is very, very slow. Like I'm almost at 250 pages and I don't really feel like all that much has happened. So if you like a book that's very jam-packed with a load of tension, you might find this one a bit of a slog to get through. I am enjoying it. I've already decided that I'm going to read the whole trilogy because I am enjoying the characters, I'm enjoying the world, I'm enjoying the writing style. It's just so slow, and to try and binge read this book in one day, I'm finding it a little bit of a slog. We're about halfway through the book. It's almost 600 pages, just shy of. I'm going to go and have some lunch, and then we will resume with reading the rest of the book this afternoon and hopefully starting a new one this evening. And at some point I do need to go outside and have a walk because the weather's actually beautiful today. It's kind of reminding me of spring. And at the point that I'm filming this, it is very much so winter. I'm just reading whilst my lunch is in the oven. A humongous plot twist has just happened. I need to process this whilst I eat my lunch and then I'll feed back. I'm in shock. Okay, I've had my lunch and can now process my thoughts. And oh my goodness, that chapter was insane. There was the biggest plot twist of all plot twists. I did not see that coming. And it involved a character that we thought was good and that we could trust completely switching like that and actually becoming one of the most evil people in this whole book, which I really didn't expect. So I'm gonna quickly tidy up after lunch and I'm gonna give Jimmy, my tortoise, his lunch as well. And then I'm gonna go into my office and read from there for a change of scenery for a few hours. And just like that, it is dark outside. The daylight is officially gone. I mean, to be fair, it is winter, so we don't get that much daylight anyway. But I don't know where the day has gone. Anyway, I thought I would update you on my stats at the moment. So we are currently on 4:32, 6 hours and 38 minutes. Pretty good going. So if you ever need some like background music that isn't too distracting but helps to set the scene for reading, I'd highly recommend going onto like Spotify or YouTube and getting some fantasy lo-fi on. It's honestly perfect. Like, there is nothing better than listening to that playlist when you're reading a fantasy book. It almost feels like you're watching a movie. It's so good. So I might do that shortly. I'm going to take a very quick break because my eyes are actually hurting, and then I'm going to crack on and read some more, probably until I make tea this evening, which normally is about 6 o'clock. So we've got like around an hour and a half or so. Guys, I did it! I finally finished Realmbreaker. That was actually really hard towards the end. That book was around 560 pages altogether, and I was, what was I, 56 pages in? So I am going to give my eyes a little break, and then I'm planning on one-shotting The Hobbit. I don't know how many pages it is, I'll check in a minute, but I am going to read for the rest of the evening, and I am not going to bed until I have finished The Hobbit. I was planning on waking up early before 6 a.m. tomorrow to complete the challenge, but I think what I would rather do is give myself a lie-in in the morning, but stay up really late tonight. Because the only thing is that tomorrow, as I'm filming this, is New Year's Eve, and waking up before 6 a.m. on New Year's Eve is not going to be a good idea when I am inevitably going to be staying awake until midnight. So I think what I would rather do is stay up late tonight, go to bed maybe 1, 2 a.m. whenever I finish The Hobbit and start a new book, and then that will be me completing my challenge. And then what I'll probably do tomorrow at some point is give you some coherent thoughts on what I thought to all the books and what I thought to this challenge in general. So that's my plan. In terms of initial thoughts for Realmbreaker, I will share more tomorrow once I've had time to process it, because there was actually a lot that happened in that book. Like I said, it was over 500 pages and there was a lot of information to absorb. I would recommend it if you are interested in fantasy, however, not if you're a beginner to fantasy. This does not feel like a beginner fantasy book. I also feel like the pacing was kind of slow in parts. There was a lot of world building and a lot of character development, and normally I really like that, but I think because I was binge reading it and I was trying to get it done all in one day, it just felt very draining. I would rate it a 3 stars out of 5, so not bad going. And because it's a trilogy, I would read the next ones, and I probably will. I hope that that gives you a little rundown into my thoughts on Realmbreaker. I'm gonna have a break for like 20 minutes or so, maybe make a hot chocolate, and maybe start to read The Hobbit. And when I read a new book, I also like to film a TikTok of start a new book with me, so I might film some behind the scenes of me filming that TikTok as well, if you'd be interested. But yeah, first book completed in my 24-hour readathon. It's only taken me all day. But I'm starting to read a bit quicker now as well because I feel like my brain's got in the groove of it. I'm not like skim reading, but I feel like my brain's cutting out unnecessary information. Anyways, I'll catch you on the flip side. Hi guys, so I am about to start reading The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien. Now this is actually a much shorter book than I thought it was, so I've just calculated. And, well, it's got a segment at the end that's the Fellowship of the Ring, but I'm not going to read that bit because I have the big edition of Lord of the Rings that has all of the books in it. So the actual version of The Hobbit is 282 pages. So I can for sure read this today. I'm going to read this whole thing. 282 pages. We can do this. It is only 7:10. I have the whole evening. I said I'm going to stay awake and finish this whole thing. I don't even think it's going to take me that long. 282 pages. We've got this. And then I also have a book picked out for when I do finish The Hobbit. I would like to start another book, even if it's just like not even 10 pages. Well, maybe 10 pages. And I'm going to start Eldest by Christopher Paolini. So I am determined to start this book in this challenge today, guys. If it's at 1 in the morning, then it's at 1 in the morning. There's no judgment here. This is a judgment-free zone. And then I'm going to start a little bit of Eldest, but I'm obviously not going to finish it because look at the size of this big boy. Hi, so I am on page 54 of The Hobbit, and this so far is just the most cozy, wholesome book ever. Why am I out of breath? It's giving me like warm, fuzzy feelings, and that first line is legendary. I had chills. You'll know the line I mean. In a hole in the ground, there lived a hobbit. What a line! I already know that I'm going to absolutely love this book. I also didn't realise the relevancy of dragons in it. How did I not know that Smaug was a dragon? It has been a long old time since I watched the movie, and I obviously had forgotten about that very vital part of it. But I'm so excited because we all know how I feel about dragons. So what I'm about to do now is I'm going to take my makeup off and get ready for bed. I'm not going to bed because, like I said, I am going to be reading all of The Hobbit. Do we have 220 pages left? Something like that. It is 9:10. We are absolutely smashing it. I don't really know how much more I'm going to film tonight because it might be a case of I just want to put the camera down and just read until I actually fall asleep because I physically cannot keep my eyes awake for any longer. So I think that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to get into my gym jams and take off my makeup, read the rest of The Hobbit in one go, probably take a few breaks here and there, but not for very long, maybe just to grab a drink or whatnot, and then I'm going to start Eldest. I'm so excited. I will probably check in with you in the morning, I imagine. Oh, what a fun challenge. What a draining challenge, though. My eyes, they hurt a lot. And just like that, it's the next day, and it's actually the evening of the next day as well. I've left it quite a while before filming this next clip. But the 24-hour reading challenge is complete. Woo! So we finished Realmbreaker by Victoria Aveyard, we finished The Hobbit by J.R.R. Tolkien, and we started Eldest by Christopher Paolini. Although I must admit, I did not get very far into Eldest. I think I read about the first 50 pages or so, maybe not even that, just because I was so tired. Like, you saw the time in the previous slide, it was like almost 1 in the morning or something when I finished. And obviously I had been up since 6 a.m, so it was a long day for me. But let's talk stats and let's talk about my experience of this challenge to finish off the video. So overall, I read for a total of 11 hours and 49 minutes. That's actually a little bit insane when I think about it. Considering I normally read for an hour and a half a day, to then do essentially 12 times that amount is a little bit ridiculous. No wonder my eyes were hurting. I did also write down the pages that I read. So for book number 1, Realmbreaker, I read 507 pages overall. I then read 282 in The Hobbit, and I'm on 50 exactly in Eldest because I did get to 50 and then told myself that I could stop. That makes 839 pages overall in around 11 and a half hours, almost 12, within 24 hours. Yeah, so 839 pages. Did I enjoy this challenge? Yes, I did enjoy the challenge. Sorry if the lighting's a bit weird, the sun's going down. The only thing that I would say is that, firstly, Realmbreaker is a slow burn. I really enjoyed the book, I did. I just wish that I could have taken my time with it because it was very slow, not that much happened, and it was really hard to binge read. However, with The Hobbit, I feel like stuff was happening in every single chapter. Stuff was progressing the plot. It was very quick, it was very fast, it's a very short book, and I sped through The Hobbit. I don't know how long it took me to read The Hobbit, but it really didn't feel like that long at all. Whereas Realmbreaker, as you saw, took me the majority of the day. I was reading it a lot slower, it wasn't as easy to read. There was a lot to process, a lot of information. It was quite a difficult fantasy book. That being said, I really enjoyed all of the books that I read. Obviously, I can't really say much for Eldest at the moment. I have just started it, but I'm enjoying it so far. You will see more when I do a full-length review on Eldest, and I'm also going to do a full-length review on The Hobbit as well. I won't do a full-length review on Realmbreaker because I feel like in this video I've said all that I needed to say. I am going to read the full trilogy. I enjoyed it, I would recommend it, and I rated it a 3 out of 5 stars. Just a little sneak peek of my review for The Hobbit. I absolutely loved it. I felt warm and fuzzy inside reading it, but I do have some hot takes on it that I'm going to share in a future video as well, so look out for that. So that is my 24-hour reading challenge. I really hope you enjoyed this different style of video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to give it a thumbs up to let me know, and I'll film more videos like this in the future if you liked it. Please leave me any feedback on this video, and if you want to comment below a book that you finished recently and let me know a little mini review on what you thought to it, that would be great. I love hearing things like that from you guys in the comments, so make sure to leave me anything bookish in the comments. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see more from me, then please subscribe because it's free and it means that you can see my videos easier. Thanks so much for joining me for this challenge. I really appreciate it. I will see you next time, or rather you'll see me, and I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye for now.